Welcome back to Shape Your Life, the show that's all about bettering your wellness. While the impact of financial stress can be damaging to our health, there are some practical ways to assess one's financial well-being and make the necessary changes. We spoke to Val Leeming from Interface Wellness, and this is what she shared with us. Val, thank you so much for joining us on Shape Your Life.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, people are going to wonder, why is a health and wellness show worried about our finances? But there's a direct link between your finances affecting your health in a positive and a negative way.
Absolutely. For the last 14 years, we've been actively looking at how a person's financial health has an impact on the rest of their lives. We call it the shadow syndrome, because when somebody's feeling financially stressed, that problem doesn't stay in their pocket. It affects them mentally, physically, emotionally.
What do you as Interface do when it comes to assisting people with their financial health?
Great. So for the past number of years, we've partnered with companies who are passionate about their people and who understand that people work to earn a living. Let's be honest. But do they have the tools, and do they know how to manage that income? So what we do is we do group financial training sessions, we do one-on-one coaching, we do financial clinics, telephonic support, as well as interactive days, really measuring a person's financial health level and giving them support.
But I think that's important, because one is to know, are you financially healthy or not? How would you identify that within an individual?
Okay, so I think the first thing that we look at is the individual managing their finances on a monthly basis? Do they know how to budget? Do they understand their income? Then from budgeting, what does their debt snapshot look like? Do they have healthy debt, like perhaps a bond or a home? Do they have unhealthy debt, like very short-term, high-interest-bearing debt? And then are they thinking about their financial futures? Do they have any financial goals in place? And do they have the right protection elements, like do they have an up-to-date will? If they're no longer here, what's going to happen to their loved ones? So all of those elements play a part in a person's financial health.
Why is it so important to chat to a group of experts like yourselves? Because anyone can give you financial advice. Many people think this. No, my aunt heard that this is the right way to do, so what am I doing? I'm buying cryptocurrency. You know, those kinds of things. Absolutely. Or they watch TV adverts and they get sold on the message of quick loans paid back in a short space of time and give you the benefit of having money in your pocket. But why is it so important for them to stop, get hold of you as an expert and say, what do I do?
Well, I think the first thing is it's about having a money conversation. And money is a taboo subject very often in today's society. People don't talk about money with their partners, spouses, loved ones, or even their children. And so the financial literacy level is low, and people have that quick response to take out a short-term loan because they're desperate, or get bad advice from family members. And so we, in terms of financial coaching, we don't sell any financial products, and I think that that's important. Financial coaching is understanding what is your financial now, what caused that financial now, and where are you wanting to go to in your financial life without selling any product or service.
I love that analogy. You know, we focus on the fitness training and you focus on the financial training. Absolutely. So we want our wallet to have a six-pack just like we want to have one too.
Exactly. And so often people give the excuse, well, I'm not able to go to the gym because I've got a financial problem. Or I'm not able to eat healthily because I can't afford it. And we actually need to stop making excuses. And what we really talk about is small changes in your financial lives, not sort of waving a wand. These small changes that can make a huge difference, yeah.
Now, let's go through some of the quick and easy tips that if someone is watching the show now and they're saying, I hear you, but what do I do right now to begin to have a positive impact on my financial health?
So step one, I would say get a copy of your credit report. So it's free. So to contact one of the credit bureaus or to Google free credit report. And that really gives you a very clear indicator of where you are right now in your financial life in terms of your debt and whether you're paying your debt. And South Africans do live on credit. I mean, the stats are 74% of income being spent on debt. So A, get a copy of your credit report. B, set aside some time, draw 3 months bank statements and start drafting a budget. It might not sound like it's sexy, but it will give you an idea of where is your money actually going. And then contact us or contact a provider and ask for help. don't keep it to yourself and sort of have what we call an ostrich approach, bury your head in the sand and hope the problem goes away. The problem's not going to go away. But with the right coaching and interventions, you can get out of that debt spiral.
Val, thank you so much for your time, for helping us in this busy period, because I know that the first part of the year is crazy because everyone wants some financial advice and guidance. But I believe that, and maybe you could concur with me on this if it's correct, that don't just focus on the beginning of the year. Bring those habits into each day for the rest of the year.
Absolutely. So very often people start off with January or a holiday hangover and they count down the days to payday. But the truth is, whether it's the 3rd of February, people are even now counting down the days to payday. And I would say make a decision today to start to invest your time in learning to be a better money manager. And if you do that, you'll change and transform your financial life.
Val, thank you so much for your time and joining us in Shape Your Life.
Thank you so much for having me.
And just because one is not doing well financially, it does not mean they cannot afford to live a healthy lifestyle. We sat down with clinical nutritionist Desi Horseman for some advice on healthy eating the cost-effective way. Desi, thank you so much for joining us in studio.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
When it comes to financial stress, we all know it's a January crunch time and people start stressing because the only thing that's lean are the wallets because there's no money. And they associate that with being very stressed in their everyday lives. What role does healthy nutrition play in managing one's stress levels?
So the first vitamin that will be depleted in your body is your B vitamin. So that stress and the B vitamin goes together. But the double-edged sword is that without your B vitamin, you don't cope with stress. So this is the area, that's the first area we look at. You know, that's your basic. We start with the B vitamins.
And then what will be our sources of B vitamins? Because many people will go to a pharmacy or a shop and go and buy these effervescent tablets or, you know, any pill, powder or potion.
Yes. And often your body won't absorb it. So one of the best places to get your B vitamin is you get the brewer's yeast. You get a lot of the meat organs will have it. All the meats generally, especially your folates and your B12. Those all come in the meats. But if you're eating a good variety of your whole grains and your lentils, you'll get a good B vitamins and your whole foods,
I like lentils, you know, and I often prefer that into having red meat so often.
Absolutely.
Because there's pros and there's cons to having it all the time. And also when people look at, you know, cost-sensitive ways to start eating healthy, you know, these are the things that they look at because meat is often very expensive.
Yes.
But speaking about cost-effective ways now, when it comes to healthy eating, if I ask many people out there, why don't you have a healthier diet or shop for healthier food? The first answer is, it is expensive. What are your thoughts on that?
I think people are maybe possibly shopping in the wrong places because it's far cheaper to buy your basics and cook a meal than to get the takeout, to buy out, because a lot of people are getting prepared meals. And those cost a lot more money. Your salad will go a whole lot further during the week if you're buying a head of lettuce and your tomatoes and everything separately instead of buying a small salad for lunch. So I think it's about planning. And it's about educating to understand that it actually is cheaper to go from basics and build up.
So it's really being conscious thereof, because one is it's going to cost you more, but number two, it is not going to be as effective as what you think it will be.
Yes.
When it comes to a simple thing that I'm looking at right now, and you know, I think about people that I know, and they're going through hectic financial stress, they're concerned about budgets, but they end up eating everything that is sugary. They're craving a lot of sugar, and they end up having fizzy drinks, sweets, and chocolates. Why is that sugar craving often associated with high stress?
So when you're stressed, your adrenal glands produce cortisol. That cortisol gets higher and higher because our stress doesn't seem to end. You know, it's supposed to go up and go down when the stress goes away. The problem is it's staying high and this constant stress. So when you eat a sugary, carby meal, it indicates to your body to bring down the cortisol, and it produces more serotonin, so you feel calmer. So that's why it becomes a comfort food. The problem is all these foods that you eat actually create a different stress in your body. Your B vitamins are depleted yet again, and sugar is also an anti-nutrient, which means it has no nutrition at all, so it needs to borrow from other vitamins to be digested and released from the body. So in other words, I mean, you need, for example, magnesium and vitamin C. So the more you have sugar, the more you deplete those, the more you're going to have other symptoms in the body, and the more you're going to be stressed.
Wow, an anti-nutrient. I love that. You know, you hear of the nutrient quotient and the nutrient value of foods, but it does. You said sugar is an anti-nutrient.
Yes.
Is that the particular type, or is it the sugar that we find in fruits as well?
So the processed sugar is definitely an anti-nutrient. There's zero nutrition. We actually also call it an anti-vitamin.
Wow.
The fruit sugar, if it's not processed into fructose, for example, the fruit sugar that you get out of a whole fruit will be full of good nutrients. It's full of your fiber. It's good with everything that you need. So it's very different to processed and whole.
What about those people who end up with a lot of financial stress and the stress level just builds and builds and builds?
Yes.
And you find that they go on this intermittent fasting phase where they don't eat for many hours.
Yes.
And they realize, oh, I need to eat something because I have no energy. What would your advice be to them? Because often they binge eat on the wrong things.
So intermittent fasting isn't for everybody. If you don't have a good balanced blood sugar, it's not really for you. So for certain people, their blood sugar needs to be balanced right from the morning. So you need to have your breakfast in the morning. If you are waiting all day to have your meal and get all your nutrients in one meal, you're going to land up binging and you're going to land up craving. Because by the end of the day, you haven't had enough of the sugar, the glucose that your brain needs as well. And you're going to land, these are the people that always tell me, I always crave something sweet after dinner, because we're actually compensating. So it backfires in the end. For some people, intermittent fasting really does work because they do need to slow down on what they are taking in. But mostly, when your body is starved from food, the organs that get affected would be immediately your adrenals produce more cortisol. Then we send a sign to the liver, and the liver now has to produce some glucose for the brain. So everything stops in your body. So the liver has to break down glycogen stores to send some glucose off to the brain. As soon as the brain gets some glucose, the body can relax. But now you're stuck with all these extra stores that the liver has, and then it just deposits into fat cells. So often people put on weight from that.
Yeah.
And also people don't realize while you're sitting and starving yourself, your body's gone into such tremendous stress. And the body doesn't know any different from a lion attacking you to any other stress from not eating.
Desi, thank you so much for your time and for joining us as
Pleasure.
always. And you know, there's a lot more people come over to you to find out what they need to find out, because you break it down into bite-sized chunks for us that allows us to chew and digest that information to make informed decisions.
Thank you.
Gym contracts can tie you down for years, especially if it no longer fits your lifestyle. While here on Shape Your Life, we are all about showing you cost-effective methods of exercise that can yield the best body results. Please join us for this week's exercise routine. Today's workout is all about a budget-friendly workout for maximal body results. So if you don't have money to go to a gym, use your park and your body, because it's the most important gym that you have. Because with functional exercises, you could do these workouts anywhere. Ladies, are you ready? All right, let's do this. First things first, warm up with a light jog on the spot and move the arms. 30 seconds of this warm up. All right, good. Now, how do you know the body is warm? Your heart rate has increased slightly, you're slightly out of breath, and there's a light sweat on the forehead. Now you're prepared for the next couple of exercises. So we're going on into the legs. So the first one, we're going to do a sumo squat. So with a sumo squat, a lot of the ladies say, how do I shape and tone my hamstrings and my glutes? This is one of those exercises. Angle your feet wider than shoulder width apart, feet out at 45 degrees, and all you're doing is sitting down, coming up slightly, and sitting down again. Tighten your tummy, arms up to balance you out, and you're doing 30 repetitions. Good, up we come, shake it loose. Now, the secret to a squat is that you don't bend the buttocks lower than the knees. And if you have any knee concerns, don't go down too low. Ladies, you feeling good? All right, on to the next one now. Lunges, I know the ladies here really enjoy, but so should the gents, because it isolates the muscle groups, helps shape your entire leg, but also something known as your proprioceptors as well as your core to keep you balanced. So from that position, we're doing a backward step lunge. So right leg first, ladies, go back, drop it down, and come up. Then left leg back, drop it down, and come up. And you're doing 15 repetitions on each side. Good, relax it up. Now the legs should be on fire. 2 back-to-back exercises. If you say this is too easy for you, increase the number of repetitions and minimize your rest. Now I love kickboxing, as you know. So ladies, let's kick some booty, okay? So from there, right leg first, kick it in front of you and drop it down. Left leg, kick and drop. Right leg, kick. Left leg, kick. Let's go. Good, drop it down. I love mixing in some cardio in between strength exercises. That is exactly what high intensity interval training is about. Pushing your body in intervals to maximize fat burn, increase your heart rate and overall functional capacity. So from that position, we're going on into the calves, an area that many people neglect. So from there, shoulder width apart, angle the toes out, raise up, drop down and bounce, 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 bounce. Go for it, keep on bouncing, that's good, that's good. Now you're bouncing up and down like that to create a plyometric type motion in the calf. What that does is pump blood into that area, prevent swelling of the ankles, and helps shape your leg, not just on the top, but also at the bottom. Good, let's go. Go. And this, I'm not giving you repetitions. This you do until it burns, and you do it for 10 more seconds after that burn to make sure that you get that pump in the calves. Good, relax it down. You know, that song comes to mind. My legs are on fire, that's our remix. So the last thing to do is, of course, to stretch it out. So ladies, feet shoulder width apart, knees straight, lean forward, hands on the floor, and bending down on the one side. A good inside thigh stretch. Hold it for 10 seconds. Change sides. Change sides. And one more time, change sides. Hold it there. Now if this is too easy for you, you take your left elbow and just push that knee further out. You should feel a deeper stretch. Good, and up you come slowly. That's how easy the workout is. I didn't need any money to do this workout, I just needed my body and to get it active. And as you can see, whether it's drizzling or whether it's dry, here at Shape Your Life, we train non-stop. Don't let the weather deter you, but be safe so that you can be healthy. We hope you've enjoyed this week's show. Join us again next week, right here on ANN 7. And do keep in touch with us via email on shapeyourlife@ann7.com for all your health-related queries, feedback and topic suggestions. From me, Ronald Avergy, goodbye.